ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಫುಲ್ ಟೈಮ್
ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇರೋಣ.
ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಓಕೆ, ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಲ್ಲ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ವಾಸುದೇವಾಯ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ವಾಸುದೇವ. ಭಗವತೆ ವಾಸುದೇವಾಯ. ನಾರಾಯಣಂ ನಮಸ್ಕೃತ್ಯಂ ನರಂ ಚೈವ ನರೋತ್ತಮಂ ದೇವೀಂ ಸರಸ್ವತಿಂ ವ್ಯಾಸಂ ತತೋ ಜಯಮುದೀರಯೇತ್. ನಷ್ಟಪ್ರಾಯೇಷು ಅಭದ್ರೇಷು ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಭಾಗವತ ಸೇವಯ ಭಗವತೆ ಉತ್ತಮಶ್ಲೋಕೆ ಭಕ್ತಿರ್ಭವತಿ ನೈಷ್ಟಕಿ. ಮೂಕಂ ಕರೋತಿ ವಾಚಾಲಂ ಪಂಗುಂ ಲಂಘಯತೆ ಗಿರಿಂ ಯತ್ಕೃಪಾತಮಹಂ ವಂದೇ ಶ್ರೀಗುರು ದೀನತಾರಿಣಂ ಚೈತನ್ಯಮೇಶ್ವರಂ ಪರಮಾನಂದಮಾಧವಂ. ಓಂ ಅಜ್ಞಾನತಿಮಿರಂಧಸ್ಯ ಜ್ಞಾನಾಂಜನಾಶಲಾಕಯ ಚಕ್ಷುರುನ್ಮಿಲಿತಂ ಯೇನ ತಸ್ಮೈ ಶ್ರೀಗುರುವೇ ನಮಃ. ನಮೋ ಓಂ ವಿಷ್ಣುಪಾದಾಯ ಕೃಷ್ಣಪೃಷ್ಠಾಯ ಭೂತಲೆ ಶ್ರೀಮತೆ ಭಕ್ತಿವೇದಾಂತ ಸ್ವಾಮಿನಿತಿ ನಾಮಿನೇ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರಸ್ವತೆ ದೇವೆ ಗೌರವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರಚಾರಿಣಿ ನಿರ್ವಿಶೇಷ ಶೂನ್ಯವಾದಿ ಪಾಶ್ಚಾತ್ಯ ದೇಶ ತಾರಿಣಿ. ಜಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ಪ್ರಭು ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಅದ್ವೈತ ಗದಾಧರ ಶ್ರೀವಾಸದಿ ಗೌರ ಭಕ್ತ ವೃಂದ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ 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 ಹರೇ ಹರೇ, ಹರೇ ರಾಮ 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 ಹರೇ ಹರೇ. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪೃಷ್ಠಾಯ Hare Krishna, welcome all for Bhagavatam discussion. So, thank you for joining. We'll continue reading Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Text 20, right, today?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Who is going to read?
20 is Varsha Mataji, Prabhuji.
Not joined now.
Okay, I'll read, Mataji.
She has
No,
joined.
yes.
Just now joined, Varsha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry.
She
I
has
was
joined,
late.
she has joined.
Sorry everyone, sorry.
Right, yeah.
बैल बटोरु कर्म विक्रमन् येन स्रवन्त कृणपुते नरसया जिह्वसति दरदुरिकेव सुत न कोपग्यत्य उरुग्य गतः. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: one who has not listened to the message about the proofs and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and a tongue like the tongue of a frog. Purport: devotional service to the Lord is rendered by all limbs or parts of the body. It is the transcendental dynamic force of the spirit soul. Therefore, a devotee is engaged 100% in the service of the Lord. One can engage in devotional service when the sense of the body are purified in relation with the Lord, and one can render service to the Lord with the help of all the senses. As such, the senses and the action of the senses are to be considered impure or materialistic as long as they are employed only in the sense gratification. The purified senses are engaged not in sense gratification but in the service of the Lord in toto. The Lord is the supreme with all senses, and the servitor who is part and parcel of the Lord also has the same senses. Service to the Lord is completely purified uses the use of the senses as described in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord imparted instructions with full senses, and Arjuna received them with full senses, and thus there was a perfect exchange of sensible and logical understanding between the master and the disciple. Spiritual understanding is nothing like an electrical charge. electrical charger from the master to the disciple, and foolishly claimed by some propaganda mongers. Everything is full of sense and logic, and the exchange of views between the master and the disciple is possible only when the reception is submissive and real. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one should receive the teaching of Lord Chaitanya with intellect and full senses so that one can logically understand the great mission. In the impure state of living being, the various senses are fully engaged in mundane affairs. If the if the ear is not engaged in the service of the Lord, by hearing about him from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, certainly the holes of the ear will be filled with some rubbish. Therefore, the messages of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam should be preached all over the world very loudly. That is the duty of pure devotee who has actually heard about them from the perfect sources. Many want to speak something to others, but because they are not trained to speak on the subject matter of Vedic wisdom, they are all speaking nonsense, and the people are receiving them with no sense. There are hundreds and thousands of sources for the disturbing mundane news of the world, and people of world are the results that they invite the snake to eat them. The human tongue is especially given for chanting the Vedic hymns and not for croaking like frogs. The word asati used in this word verse is also significant. Asti means a woman who has become a prostitute. A a prostitute has no reputation for good womanly qualities. Similarly, the tongue which is given to the human beings for chanting the Vedic hymns will be considered a prostitute when engaged in chanting some mundane nonsense. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Guru. Jai.
Yeah, wonderful. We can have a lot of discussion here today, like yesterday. So, sages are saying, one who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered possess ear holes like the holes of snake, or tongues like a tongue of a frog. So this is some analogies given, and at the same time the fact is given that how important is to hear the glories of the Lord and chant the holy name of the glories of the Lord. Because all these are the Bhagavatam talks for our benefit, to wake us up. Many time I'm not in a position to understand this. I'm still in I'm in a half sleep state. Even though I look like active, no, my consciousness is not active. I'm still in this mumper, so that's why this kind of words are given. And not only this, the great sages like Shripa Shankaracharya, Shripa Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the disciples, they all come to wake us up. Tell us, please, please get up. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, there's a song, Jeev Jago, Gaura Bole. So he says, from Maya's lap, please get up, and take up devotional service. This is what exactly Bhagavatam says, that one who has not chanted, one who has heard, their ear holes like the holes of a snake. The snakes make a big hole where they can sleep. That's like that. Or tongues of the frog, which keep croaking. And what did they result? Croaking invite snake and die. So that's why speaking about the Lord, hearing about the Lord is so important. Prabhupada starts his purpose saying, devotional service of the Lord is rendered by all limbs or parts of the body. Every part of the body should be engaged in Krishna service. There is a nice example given, Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj used all his limbs for the service of Krishna. Like there are different personalities perfected in different, aspects of bhakti. Sukdev Goswami is perfected in speaking, Kirtana. Parishit Maharaj perfected in hearing, Shravana. Shravana, Kirtana, Parishit and Sukdev. Smarana, Prahlad, always remembered Krishna. Whatever happens, when his own father, Hiranyakashipu, was tried to kill him, he was put under the poisonous snakes. Prahlad thought about Krishna, and all these snakes become friendly with him. He was put under a mad elephant to stamp on, but nothing happened. Then he was poisoned. He was put in the fire, and he was thrown from the mountain. All this happened, but he remembered Vishnu, and Vishnu saved him. So Shravana, Parishit, Kirtana, Sukdev Goswami, the memory, the Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana. Then Archana, this one, I think Prithu Maharaj or Akrura. Akrura, the Archana, then Akrura, then Padasevana is Lakshmi Devi, Sakya, Arjuna, Dasya, Hanuman. Like that, each one perfected certain areas of, and Bali Maharaj, Atma Nivedana, he surrendered. Whereas Ambarish Maharaj used everything. He heard, he has used his eyes, everything for Krishna's service. Ambarish Maharaj used his eyes to see the beautiful form of the Lord, and ears to hear the glories of the Lord, the tongue to chant and honor the prasadam offered to Krishna, the legs to walk, to do pradakshina to Krishna, the hands to cleanse the deity and temple. Like that, the whole body is, all the limbs of the body is used. So similarly, we should engage ourselves using all the limbs of the body in a Krishna service. And Prabhupada says one can engage in the devotional service when the senses of the body are purified in relation with the Lord. Otherwise, my senses are always impure, senses always roaming, sense always want something for sense gratification. That's why the senses has to be under control. Like we said yesterday also, the senses, above senses is the mind, above mind is intelligence, above intelligence soul, then above soul is the super soul, Paramatma. So that's the hierarchy. The buddhi, intelligence should use and control mind. Mind should control my senses. Otherwise, senses like a poisonous snake. We don't know when they'll bite me. My own senses will be the cause for my own destruction. There are many examples we see today. Many great personalities in the society, they commit certain mistakes and end up in jail because the senses are become weak. So purified senses are engaged in the, not in the sense gratification, but the service of the Lord in toto. See Prabhupada word, he says in toto. Toto means 100%. 100% should be engaged. So like, gave an example like how Krishna was master, Arjuna was a servant. Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna was hearing. Prabhupada gives example here how Bhagavad Gita Krishna says 927 Yat karoshi yat tajnashi, right? Anybody knows the sloka 927? Yat karoshi yat tajnasi yat jahosya dadasyat yat tapasyasya kaunteya tat kurusva madarpanam. It says whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, or whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as offering to me. Like we all have to do something to eat. Definitely we can't survive without eating. So cook nice bhoga, nice vegetable, offer to Krishna with a love. Request Krishna, Krishna, please accept it. Krishna accepts if you offer in love. Then it becomes prasad. Similarly, whatever austerities do, people do a lot of austerities. Yesterday we discussed. People work 16 hours, 18 hours, travel, 4 hours, 3 hours in the traffic jam. That's all austerities. Get up early morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, they're in the vehicle and come back 10 o'clock, again back to the routine. This is all austerity. But Krishna says, whatever austerity do it for me. Then whatever sacrifice, people do a lot of sacrifice. Parents to sacrifice for children, children sacrifice for parents, husband sacrifice wife, wife sacrifice for family, and like that, so many sacrifice. But he says, do that sacrifice for me. The charity, we do charity. but do that for me, Krishna says, so that you can purify your life. So in this way, Krishna as a master, Arjuna as a disciple gave this knowledge. So that knowledge just not for Krishna, is for me, for all of us. We should take that, knowledge. Now, Prabhupada talks about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, my question to all assembled devotees here: how many of you know about Chaitanya Charitamrita? If you know, say yes. If you don't know, say no. It's okay, no problem. How many of know about Chaitanya Charitamrita? How many of don't know about Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Yeah, no, we know about Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhuji.
Those who don't know,
But of course, we haven't read full completely. Only a little part I have read.
okay. Others also, please respond. If there is no, just say no, no problem.
Prabhuji, I have heard of it, but I have not started reading it. Or yet I have the copy of it also.
Okay. So we will we'll talk about that. That's why I'm asking. Please respond in the chat. If you know, say yes. If you don't know, no. So no problem. So Prabhupada says, in the impure state of living being, the various senses are fully engaged in mundane affairs. So what happens? The senses are impure. We engage in a lot of sinful activities, and result in sin result in a punishment. In Bhagavatam, the 5th canto, I think 28th chapter, that talks about various the naraka, various type of hell. For different kind of sin, there is a different kind of a hell. So those who commit sin, that's kind of a hell they have to go through it. So instead of that, the senses can be purified by engaging services. Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, certainly those who are not heard about that Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, their ears like the hole of the snake.
Snake.
So we have to hear, we have to speak. And Prabhupada says that is the duty of a pure devotee who has actually heard them and from the perfect sources. So what is the duty of a devotee? What we hear, we should recite to others, we share with others. There is no way I should keep. I should be always, Brahmana. I should be develop a mood of Brahmana, not Kripana. Kripana means keeps everything for himself, whereas Brahmana means keep giving. So that's why we should always request devotees to please come to Bhagavatam class. Please come chanting session. Please let's read, let's chant, let's distribute. Let everybody take it. So this is the holy name Mahaprabhu has given. Let everybody take it. That's the duty of a devotee. Like many times we discussed, Bhagavad Gita 18, chapter 68 and 69, Krishna is very clearly saying, those who want to come back to me, they just preach the glories. And he says that such devotees are more dear to me, and such devotees, they'll come back to me without doubt. So if you are all, having a desire to go back home, back to God, preaching has to happen. At least one call per day, one request, one devotee, please join. I mean, and we can do more. I'm saying at least one, 7 days, 7 devotees we can invite. This is the preaching has to happen. Each one have, wherever we are, we should have one weekly program in your house. Call some neighbors, call friends, do some kirtan, read Bhagavad Gita. Each one should do one program at least a week. That's the mandatory for Grihasthas. And give them some prasad, whatever possible. Even nothing can cook, okay, some fruits also we can give. It's okay. Krishna prasad, the quantity, quality is not important. Bhava is important. With the love we can offer. With that, the preaching happens, distributing prasad happens. So with that, when the devotees meet in our house gets purified. So our conscience gets purified, relationship bends. So Prabhupada here says that otherwise what happens that we talk. If I don't get a chance to speak about the Lord, I may speak to all these mundane people. Prabhupada compares that like a croaking of the frog croaking, inviting a snake to eat. And like that, we do on so many unwanted things. Instead of that, Prabhupada says, similarly, the tongue which is given to the human being for chanting the Vedic hymns will be considered a prostitute when engaged in chanting some mundane nonsense. So, Jivara Swarupa Nityara Krishna Das, or my tongue's real duty is to chant Krishna's name, chant Vedic mantra. And if I chant anything else, it's like a prostitute, unchaste. So I should develop that chastity towards Krishna so that my life can be perfect. We'll read one more sloka possible, please. 21.
Lakshmi Mataji. Prabhuji.
Okay,
Lakshmi Mataji has come? No.
not there. Huh? Somebody.
Anybody? Lakshmi Mataji hasn't come. Anybody wants to read Prabhuji's Mataji's?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll read Mataji.
Ah,
21.
read Mataji.
Text 21. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bara Param Patakirita मत्यूतं मगन्ननमे कुन्दं श्रावोकरौ नु कुरुते समर्पयम् हरेर्हरेर्हरेर्लसत् काञ्चन कनकनं वा Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead Hari. Purport. As stated herein before, there are three kinds of devotees of the Lord. The first class devotee does not at all see anyone who is not in the service of the Lord, but the second class devotee makes distinction between devotees and non devotees. The second class devotees are therefore meant for preaching work, and as referred to in the above verse, they must loudly preach the glories of the Lord. The second class devotee accepts disciples from the section of third class devotees or non devotees. Sometimes the first class devotee also comes down to the category of the second class devotee for preaching work. But the common man who is expected to become at least a third class devotee is advised herein to visit the temple of the Lord and bow down before the deity, even though he may be a very rich man or even a king with a silk turban or crown. The Lord is the Lord of everyone, including the great kings and emperors, and men who are rich in the estimation of mundane people must therefore make it a point to visit the temple of Lord Krishna and regularly bow down from the deity. The Lord in the temple is the worshipable form, is never to be considered to be made of stone or wood. For the Lord is his Archana incarnation as the deity in the temple, shows immense favor to the fallen souls by his auspicious presence. By the hearing process, as mentioned herein before, this realization of the presence of the Lord in the temple is made possible. As such, the first process in the routine work of devotional service, hearing, is the essential point. Hearing by all classes of devotees from the authentic sources like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is essential. The common man who is puffed up with his material position and does not bow down before the deity of the Lord in the temple, or who defies temple worship without any knowledge of the science, must know that his so called turban or crown will only succeed in further drowning him in the water of the ocean of material existence. A drowning man with a heavy weight on his head is sure to go down more swiftly than those who have no heavy weight. A foolish, puffed up man defies the science of God and says that God has no meaning for him. But when he is in the grip of God's laws and is caught by some disease like cerebral thrombosis, that godless man sinks into the ocean of nascence by the weight of his material acquisition. Advancement of material science without God consciousness is a heavy load on the head of human society, and so one must take heed of this great warning. The common man, if he has no time to worship the Lord, may at least engage his hands for a few seconds in washing or sweeping the Lord's temple. Maharaja
Maharaja Prataparudra, the powerful king, the greatly powerful king of Orissa, was always very, very busy with heavy state responsibilities. Yet he made it a point to sweep the temple of Lord Jagannath at Puri once a year during the festival of the Lord. The idea is that, however important a man one may be, he must accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. This God consciousness will help a man even in his material prosperity. Maharaja Pratap Rudra's subordination before Lord Jagannatha made him a powerful king, so much so that even the great Patan in his time could not enter into Orissa on account of the powerful Maharaja Pratap Rudra. And at last, Maharaja Prataparudra was graced by Lord Sri Chaitanya on the very grounds of his acceptance of subordination to the Lord of the universe. So, even though a rich man's wife has glittering bangles made of gold on her hand, she must engage herself in rendering service to the Lord. Hare Krishna. So, here what they're telling is how much ever rich or opulent we may be, we should always have our head at the lotus feet of the Lord. That is, we should always bow to the lotus feet, whether we have a crown or we have this opulences of gold and bangles or whatever. It is told that it is always best that the second class devotees are meant for preaching, and the first class devotees always engage in the service of the Lord, and the third class devotees, like the common men, can at least go to the temple and do some service of the temple or bow at the deity and do the deity worship. Although people may tell that everything is nothing is overcome by the Lord and everything is happening in nature as it is and all, because we are all overcome with material contamination. But when any major diseases like cancer or this and all that happens, then we realize that how much ever money, here it is mentioned cerebral thrombosis, how much ever money we have, unless and until his will is there, that is the Supreme Lord's will is there, nobody can save us. We may have, listen, we saw in during COVID time also, there were so many people, despite having so much of money and all, they could not save their lives. But there were many people who couldn't even afford treatment, who stayed at home and still survived. So unless and until the Supreme Lord's mercy is there, just they tell, Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake Kaun, means whoever is protected by the Lord, despite his opulences, he will be saved, whether he is poor or wrong. And also, we should never have this arrogance that we have everything, material riches, and all is given by the Lord itself. So, we should always be humble towards the Lord and his devotees, and always serve the Lord. That is will be of the utmost importance, and that only will lead us to self realization and ultimately reach the lotus feet of the Lord. That's what I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah. So definitely quite a lot points Prabhupada brings out here. So we decorate upper portion of the body. So that upper portion of the body, especially the head, the crown, the peta, that's where the head weight comes. Because, when I get some position, some power, my head becomes heavy. Means I develop a pride. That head which is not surrendered to Krishna is become heavy only. So Prabhupada gives so many examples here. So the head has to be bowed down before his Supreme Lord and his devotees. That's why surrender. Surrender means sir under. In Hindi, sir means head. Sit under. Head has to bow down. Then only my pride reduces. So otherwise, it's a burden. In Bhagavatam talks about when before Krishna appears, Bhumi Devi goes to Brahmaji and prayed that all this heavy load, the demons in my body, because Bhumi Devi is, the whole demons are walking on the body of Bhumi Devi. She feels heavy because the ahankara of these demons. So that's why my pride is the most dangerous thing in my life. As soon as a pride is there, I become heavy and no the Krishna conscious activity can be done. So that's the point in the translation. And Prabhupada, some other points. Prabhupada talks about Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishthadhikari. Maybe next class we discuss about these 3 points. Maybe can I request devotees to do assignment the weekend? We have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the devotees can prepare. What is Chaitanya Charitamrita? Who wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita? Maybe somebody can note down, maybe briefly. And what is all about Chaitanya Charitamrita? Briefly, 10-15 minutes, if somebody can prepare. I mean, all of us can prepare. Those who prepare, come back and present on Monday. So about Chaitanya Charitamrita, who has written, what about what, and how many chapters are there, how many divisions are there, and what is some very high level description of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because that will help 2 aspects. Those who are not read will get a briefing, and those who want to read can at least understand some subjects. So who want to take up this seva? Not that full chapter, whatever, very high level. Somebody can, whoever, I mean, if everybody can take also, I'm okay. So it's basically just to get an idea of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Sridevi Mataji, it's okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, sure.
Put in the group so that others also, those who
Yes,
want,
Prabhu.
they
What
can.
is Chaitanya Charitamrita? Who has written it? What are the contents of it? And how many volumes?
Volumes, and briefly about
How many and how many volumes, Prabhuji?
yeah, briefly about Chaitanya Charitamrita. They can discuss even some of the key pastimes also. We can talk about basically to introduce Chaitanya Charitamrita to everybody. They can spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes also. They can spend, no problem. Okay. Who else? Sridevi Mataji, who else want to take up? Saurabh Prabhu.
Well, I didn't understand. I mean, you want to prepare
Yes,
this
Prabhu.
this kind of segment. So, suppose if I have taken the responsibility, I have
Already,
to say if I have taken the responsibility, so that I have to. How many?
No, just briefly discuss what is Chaitanya Charitamrita,
Okay.
who has written Chaitanya Charitamrita, about what it is, just to very high level. Already
Next Monday.
Mataji has put in the group already. Some point already put. What is Chaitanya Charitamrita, who has wrote, and who high level. Yeah. So just to introduce the Chaitanya Charitamrita to the society. That's it. And
Okay, Prabhuji.
further we'll continue from there. Okay, we'll come back to today's point. Devotees can share your points. So who want to share? We start with Varsha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the class. So today's takeaway is like I understood here how important it is to listen and talk about Lord. I mean, we should not be like snake. Our ears should not be like snake, always listening to frogs, croaks. But instead, we should listen and talk about God. And every senses and part of body should be used in the service of Lord. And senses should be controlled, else it will be a cost of my own destruction. And you had given an example of Amrish Maharaj, how all his senses and parts of body were used in service of Lord. And whatever we do or say, it should be like I mean, it should be Krishna, it should be given to Krishna. I mean, it should be given to him. And Krishna shared knowledge to Arjuna, and Arjuna was the receiver, and he also received it very tentatively. And everyone should preach about God to go back to him. As Grihastha, I should have this weekly programs, and should not. In the second chapter, I understood that we should not have any head weight, and I should lose my pride at whatever position we go to, and surrender to God. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, thank you so much. Uma Shankar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It is told that we should be always constantly listening to the Bhagavatam, so that the same thing is that if we not hear, means it will be like the ears of the snake. So we should be also be hearing as well as be distributing the message to other people. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sudhavati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
I think my voice is not still okay.
Okay.
Probably from Monday.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you for the class, Prabhuji.
Jai Mataji, want to say anything?
Yes, Prabhuji. One who does not hear the glories of the Lord, or one who does not chant the holy name, is like ear holes like the holes of snake and tongue like the tongue of frog. So we have to hear like Parikshit Maharaj and tell the glories like Sukhdev Goswami. So we have to engage all our senses for the Krishna service. Then only they get purified. Senses are like, if they are not purified, senses are like poisonous snake. Whoever we may be, as soon as we see the deity of the Lord, we should bow down and hands put together, do namaskara. We have to completely use our body parts for the service of the Lord. Whoever they are like kings, big people, or whatever they are, how rich they are less than God. So we have to bow down and surrender to the Lord, leave all our ahankara and proud. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Saurav Prabhu. Then
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So my takeaway is we have to deeply engage to our devotional service, putting aside all our lust, arrogance, pride, etc., etc. And whatever time is available with us, just engage our organs to the devotional service by hearing or chanting Shavanam Kirtana Vishnu Shavanam.
Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, from the class, it understand that we should engage in listening and hearing and chanting the holy name of Lord. Because once we hear and chant Lord's name, our mind will get attached to Lord and will be away. I mean, will not get attached to the materialistic world. Will be attached to the Lord, and which will ultimately help in attaining Him. So that is one point, and the other point is related to the pride which we carry as humans. The pride which will distance us from Krishna. So, whoever we are, we should bow down to Him, as whatever we got is only because of Him. So we have to use our all the senses to serve Him and to worship Him. Hare Krishna.
Mariappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Almost all points have been covered, Prabhuji. Hearing the glories of the Lord is very important in spiritual awareness and progress. Otherwise, ear holes are considered as holes in snakes, and all senses must be engaged in devotional services. The whole body must be deployed in devotional services. Kirtana, Smarna, Pada Seva, and Sakya, like that. You have highlighted all this thing with one example also. With love and affection, I must offer all the foodstuff to Supreme Lord and consume only as prasadam in my day-to-day life. And pure devotees must listen from the spiritual literature from the right source, and I must develop the tendency to share among all fellow human beings. I should not become a kripana. I should I should emerge with good qualities like a brahmana, and I must engage the senses in spreading Krishna messages. Otherwise, senses will get engaged in some mundane activities, and I should not develop head weight, bow down in front of Supreme Lord, develop the attitude of humbleness, and the example of Pratap Rudra king is highlighted here, and I must get rid of my pride. Pride is the most dangerous this thing highlighted by Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna never likes anyone with pride, so I must be very cautious, and that much I have understood, Prabhuji, and I have to prepare for the Chaitanya Charitamrita homework. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, same thing.
Bhagavatam is basically to wake us up, and then we should intelligence should control the mind, mind should control the senses, and then all our senses should be used or engaged in the service of the Lord. We have to be humble. I have to be humble. First, I have to curb my pride. Then only, and that pride makes us very heavy, and then I cannot take Krishna conscious. So I have to be humble first and curb the pride in me. That's my takeaway, Prabhuji. And also, hearing is very important, but at the same time, it's not only hearing, but what I heard, I should also pass on to others. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the class.
Thank you. We'll stop here. Once I come to the Patidana Pavanebhya Vaishnavibhyo Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Grantarashim Bhagavatam jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prashadeshwar Prabhuji class ki jai.
Let's discuss briefly about Chaitanya Charitamrita Monday.